If you've ever travelled on cross-country trains in the United Kingdom, you've probably experienced a less than pleasant journey. Their trains are often overcrowded, and it's not uncommon for them to be delayed or cancelled, or have a lack of onboard facilities. They've now become well known for being unreliable and unpleasant to travel with. However, the roots of the problems that the company are experiencing are complex. Most of them come from decisions made by the previous operator, Virgin, which are now lasting over 20 years later. Before we cover the specifics and what it means for cross-country, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking this video. Today, we'll cover the historical issues that still impact cross-country to this day. These issues are often the reason why you commonly experience delays and severe overcrowding on a lot of cross-country services, but the history of all this is very complicated. It all starts in 1997, when the Virgin Group was awarded the cross-country franchise as part of the privatisation of Britain's railways. Virgin quickly got to work with procuring a new fleet of trains to replace the ageing, inefficient and increasingly unreliable locomotive hauled stock, as well as planning a drastically increased new timetable to accompany them. This fleet replacement was known as Operation Princess. It was one of the most ambitious rail improvement plans of its time. The result of it was the introduction of 34 new Class 220 Voyager and 44 Class 221 Super Voyager diesel-electric multiple units. These trains were a step up compared to what they replaced in terms of technology. They featured faster acceleration, an electronic seat reservation system, and as they were multiple units, they removed the need for the locomotive to change its end of the train at destinations. The Super Voyagers also featured tilting technology, which allowed them to run faster on certain sections of track. These new features cut journey times across the network, which led to some impressive time savings in the new timetable, such as cutting 23 minutes off the journey time from Birmingham New Street to Reading. More impressive than these reduced journey times was the previously unheard of level of frequency in the new timetable. For example, the Newcastle to Birmingham corridor's frequency increased from 12 to 27 trains per day. Birmingham to Reading received 12 new services per day, and Birmingham to Bristol received 10 new services per day. So overall, a massive service increase. Operation Princess also kept the wide range of destinations that the operator previously served. Portsmouth, Brighton, Swansea and Liverpool all used to be destinations served by cross-country routes, and most of these destinations benefited from a minor service uplift with the new timetable. However, this all came at a cost. The Voyagers, while more frequent, only had 4 or 5 coaches when compared to the previous HSTs and locomotive hauled stock used by Virgin, which had 7 or 8 coaches. This led to overcrowding, as increasing the service frequency led to more passengers using each service, but the capacity of these services was not enough. And when these trains did become overcrowded, people were forced to stand or sit on the floor in the very badly vented vestibules, which made the journey even more unpleasant. Aside from the overcrowding, there were other complaints about the Voyager trains: claustrophobic interiors, caused by their bodies being narrower than other trains due to the tilting technology, excessive noise from the underfloor diesel engines, a lack of luggage space again due to the narrow bodies, the fleet's tendency to completely shut down their engines while on the doorless seawall, the list goes on. So, it was clear the public reception of Voyagers was not the best. If that wasn't bad enough for Virgin, they didn't have enough Voyagers and Super Voyagers to actually run the new Operation Princess timetable. To be precise, they were 6 diagrams short. In response, Virgin reorganised 8 HST sets to 5 carriages long, making them match the performance of a Voyager, and used them to cover for the missing Voyager diagrams. Even with this fix, the Operation Princess timetable was completely unreliable. It stretched the capacity of its central hub, Birmingham New Street, to the max. This didn't allow for any delays to services, as they had then missed their slot into Birmingham. But with a network as massive and susceptible to delays as the cross-country routes, delays were inevitable. The effect of this was that in the first few days of the new timetable, over half of Virgin cross-country services arrived at their destination late, or didn't even make it there, as they had been turned round early in order to try and start the next service on time. This was not a good look for Virgin, as before the introduction, the timetable was hyped to be a new dawn for rail travel. So what did they do to fix it? Not much at the start. They couldn't just withdraw their drastically increased timetable out of nowhere, but over time, reliability gradually got better, but service overcrowding continued. To free up trains and simplify the service, some of the branch lines were withdrawn from the timetable. Portsmouth and Liverpool services, for example, were withdrawn in 2003. 2007 then saw the transfer of services from Birmingham and Manchester Airport to Scotland via the West Coast Main Line, from CrossCountry to Virgin West Coast and First Transpennine Express, and a year later saw the complete withdrawal of services beyond Guildford to Brighton. This allowed CrossCountry to focus their remaining stock and resources on the remaining, more heavily used routes, meaning that more services could be doubled up to 8, 9 or 10 carriages long, leading to hopefully less overcrowding. This still hasn't eliminated overcrowding on their services. It's a battle they'll probably never win, as to put it simply, 4 and 5 carriage Voyagers do not have the capacity for the demand of the routes that they serve. So without new trains or a significant fleet size boost, neither of which are looking likely, CrossCountry's overcrowding problem isn't going anywhere. If you've made it this far, please consider subscribing to my channel for more transport-related deep dive videos, and make sure to like this video if you did enjoy it or found it interesting.